I'm muted. The texts I'm receiving about this are bad, man. People are going crazy. No one has spoiled anything for me, so thank you for that. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, it is multiple people telling me that this is bad. So with all that being said, I don't know if you guys have watched it yet. I don't know if you guys have waited. Either way, we're gonna watch it. I'm gonna give you my thoughts here. I don't expect a lot from her. You know, I don't expect her to be a good person. I don't expect her to take any remorse. I don't expect her to do the right thing at all. So, with all that being said, I don't want to waste our time. We got a long video to get into. Tonight we got the marshmallows, baby, the big ones. So we're going to get into it. And I just want to thank you guys for the reaction on the media company. It's brought my day up. I'm going to try my best to not let this take my day down, but we'll do what we can. I will appreciate you guys looking out for me. Good to see you, Lisa. I'm sure a lot of people said the same thing. I was getting a lot of texts. I saved it for this time. Saved it for it. Thank you, Kaz, for sharing that to our new media company. Cannot believe that is real. Thank you guys for all being so supportive. We've seen an unbelievable amount of support and love from you guys, and huge to have that love, man. So there's our guy, Askcolbyj. Oh, you guys are gonna love my hat tomorrow. You guys are gonna love that hat that I got coming tomorrow. That blue Askcolbyj hat. Oh, it's coming. It's gonna be here before we do court tomorrow. So, with all that being said, let's just jump in. I'm not going in my box this time. I'm gonna be big this time. I'm gonna be the bigger person. You know what I'm talking about? All right, let's get it. Oh, here she goes. I can't turn on captions. Oh, it's loud. Okay, good. There we go. The most aggressive handshake on the planet Earth is coming.
How are you ready?
Yeah. Are any of my people here? Oh, okay. Hi.
Good to see you.
Hey, such a pleasure.
Have a seat.
This is weird already.
Long time coming, huh?
It has been. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
So I want to start with Chad.
Okay.
You told me years ago.
Today is my birthday.
Today is your birthday.
How old do you think that I am?
52.
Oh, how did you know?
I do my research.
You must know a lot.
Yes.
The girls are like, "Are you turning 25 in my pod?" And I was like, "No, I'm turning 25 plus 25 plus 2."
There you go. So
Do the math.
You told me years ago Chad was the best man you've ever met.
Chad is a very kind person, yes.
Is that still true?
Yes.
So besides his spirituality, what else attracts you to Chad?
Wow, he jumped right in. Wow. This is a wild already.
Person. Everyone who knows him knows that. You've never met him, right?
I haven't met him other than when we were in Hawaii.
I'm saying you never met him, talked to him, interacted with him, or
No.
Yeah.
How often are you able to talk with him?
So we aren't really speaking.
By your own choice, or just because it's not allowed from like prison to prison?
Yeah, like the way that the mail works here is very difficult.
I see.
So
No.
we're only allowed to get postcards. Like you can't send a letter to the jail itself, and so there's difficulties within that.
I
Love
can't.
him.
Absolutely,
Oh, I can.
And you've said you'll be exonerated, and he will too.
absolutely, we will.
Will that be before he's executed?
Yes, Nate.
Okay.
Before he's executed, you're well aware. You know.
Oh, hell no. You should. If I was in there, I wish you talked to me like this, motherfricka. I wish your frizzy-haired motherfrickin' face would talk to me like this. I would be on your crap with this. You have no idea. Oh, you want to play with the big dogs. You want to play with the big dogs, you're going to get a big bite, baby. We got big barks over here. Ooh. Oh, I'd be on you. You are, get that attitude. He's calling you out on your stupidity. How about that?
No, I know that you are LDS as well as I am, right?
You're not LDS.
And you're well
You know
aware that the 3 Nephites in 3 Nephi 28 were given the death penalty 7 times. They were arrested after Jesus personally translated them. Okay. They were arrested, convicted, and given the death penalty 7 times. And where are they today?
I don't know.
They're still wandering the earth.
Nate is trying to chill, man. What the heck, bro? Man, she's so crazy. She's crazy.
Yeah.
They didn't get executed.
So
They didn't get the death penalty. And there's 220 people in this country who have been on death row and have been exonerated and gone home.
do you think it'll be soon then?
I don't know.
I think it'll be in the Lord's time. I know that it will be in the Lord's time. And when you say the word soon, if you've ever watched The Chosen or dealt with Jesus at all, you know that soon is a relative term because 1,000 years are a day to him.
So does it bother
That's
you
a TV show depiction.
though that in Chad's trial he blamed it on you and Alex?
So now that I know the judicial system and now that I have been my own.
You're going to blame the judicial. Oh my gosh. I'm listening to your trial right now. I'm listening to your trial as we speak. As we speak, I'm listening to your trial. You think that everybody's against you, bro. You have such a mental misunderstanding of life. I don't even understand how you could possibly think that the judicial system, that's hard for me to say, judicial system, those S's get me. Judicial system. I got to work on my tongue twisters. Is against you. You're really going to sit here and immediately try to go at this.
Attorney and how things work. And, I've said this before in an interview. It's so different what goes on behind the scenes in a high profile case. Okay. There's strategies going on. There's defenses going on. There's all these things going on.
You've been convicted for every single thing you've done. And you think that there's more going on. What more is going on? What conspiracy theory do you think that there is?
Wish, why can't we just go in and tell our side of the story? The attorneys are like, you can't do that. We have to come up with the defense and we have to do this and we have to do this. And why don't we just go? Why isn't it? You thought if you've never been in the judicial system, which I hadn't before, you thought they get to tell their side of the story, what they think happened. You get to go in and tell your side of the story of what happened. And then the jury gets to decide. And that's not what happens. That's not what happens at all. And it's so sad and disappointing that's.
So you think Chad, they had to come up with a defense just
aggressive.
to have one in court. You don't think he really believed or blamed all of this on you and Alex?
Absolutely. And I know that for a fact because John Pryor came and told me that prior to trial.
He did. He said, this is going to be our defense.
He said, I'm going to blame you and Chad doesn't want me to. And he wants you to know that. And this is the kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that nobody sees.
She acts like she's so much better and more knowledgeable than everybody else. Like the pride of a person who thinks this way and feels this way. Ugh.
Nobody knows what's going on. There's so much stuff going on that you wouldn't even believe all the things that go on. The experts that are being paid, the things that are going on. We got this expert. We paid him $1 million to say the opposite of whatever your expert's going to say.
Yeah, someone got paid. You stupid ass. Are you telling me that they paid an expert $1 million to go against you? $1 million. How many experts have they brought in? There's so many experts. So each one got $1 million. Who's paying them?
I'm going to say, what do you mean they paid him? The state paid an expert $1 million retainer to say whatever the opposite of what our state, what our witness,
Arizona or Idaho?
In Idaho was what our witness is going to say. And the attorneys told me this, and I'm like, are you kidding?
But you didn't have any witnesses.
We did. Yeah, in the buildup, we did.
But then
we absolutely
didn't call him.
Well, there's reasons for that there's strategies involved. There's things going on. And you have no control when you have attorneys. And they're doing it how they want to.
And that's why you want it to be.
I hope Ray got $5 million. He deserves it.
Your own attorney.
There's several reasons. The number one reason was because they wanted me to sit here for 5 years while they got to know the case. And I wanted a speedy trial.
Can we go back?
Literally, oh my gosh, bro. This is why it's good for me to know, all of you guys who have asked, why are we watching the trials? For me personally, this is good to know because I know what this court was like now. We're listening to it. We're listening to these experts. We're listening to these people. You cannot sit here and tell me that you genuinely believe that people are getting paid $1 million to go against you. Why is I'll never understand that. Why? why is everyone against you? You know what I mean?
To Hawaii, when I first met you and Chad.
And we didn't meet. You just put a microphone in my face.
Okay, when I put
Now we've met.
we have met. You're right. Why didn't you just tell me where the kids were?
Because I was not ready to talk about it at all at that point. I was just not ready. It was very traumatic, and I was not ready for any of it.
Traumatic for you. You were literally in Hawaii spending life insurance money and illegal money. You were spending money that you were getting and collecting off of my dead family.
Of that.
Are you ready to talk now?
I have talked about it already. Yeah. I feel like a lot of things have happened in these last 5.5 years to give me strength through that tragedy that happened with my children. And
There's no way. There's no way you can spin this narrative to yourself. There's no way you can spin this to yourself. I heard how they found my brother and sister. I heard the conditions that they were in. I've heard that information listening to court. I know for a fact how you left the kids and then took your ass on to Hawaii. So don't play me like that. Thank you, Emily. We're not watching Lori's interview, but just wanted to send our love and have you relive this over and over again, thinking of you. Appreciate you. Thank you. I like your name of your channel too.
And I've been a lot more open in being able to talk about it now and through therapy.
Love
also,
you too, man.
Like some post-traumatic stress therapy, because it's traumatic. And I'm living in here with some beautiful, intelligent, smart women. And had I never come to Arizona, and I know God put me here for a purpose, because I didn't think Arizona was
Your God is not the God that created the earth, the heavens. Your God's not the one that, Jesus is the part of the Godhead. Like you're not, we're not talking about the same God here.
come and get me. In fact, I think you and I had a talk about that, because there was an article that came out in Idaho saying that Arizona was not going to come and extradite me until all my appeals were finished. Do you remember that?
Mhm.
And I think, and then my
It's
appeals,
like the next day that you were gone.
yeah, the next day they came and got me. And my appeals attorney was supposed to come. He had an appointment that day when they came to get me to drive down from Boise to Pocatello for us to have a meeting. And they didn't even tell him I was gone. Like I was just gone that day. They came the next day. So I didn't think they were coming.
You mentioned a tragedy, and you said that this has all been a family tragedy.
Yes,
And it has been a huge tragedy.
absolutely.
All of this.
Absolutely.
4 juries have said you and Chad and Alex caused the tragedy.
Yeah. That's the judicial system.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, let's just use logic, which you don't clearly have any of, right? There's something wrong with your hippocampus, whatever the frick's going on in your brain, okay? You kill everybody. They find out through texting, geolocation. I mean, you name it. Let's go back to every single one of these trials. That's what we're doing right now. To be able to see that, look at this guy. Yes, Larry. Yes, Larry. How am I supposed to sit here and listen to this stuff, man? You're gonna sit there and say that that's a hard one for me. I'm not trying to be funny right now. The motherfricka, judicial system just decided out of nowhere to attack you while you were just living your happy life, as if nothing has happened to a bunch of people, affecting 5 people's lives directly. 4 of those lives being gone. And then the system just said, we're going to get Lori and we're going to get paid $1 million. And then we're going to all just get together and rise against this powerful goddess who's so strong and powerful. And she's got a power level of 10,000 vibration. Get the frick out of here, bro. My heart is with you during this. I appreciate that. Can't imagine having to watch this and listen to her lies about your family. We're here for you, Kelsey. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. She's just ridiculous. She's just ridiculous. Like how do you even believe? How can you even sit here and talk like this with a straight face? It's embarrassing.
You argue with that if all of this evidence came out that showed you know, that
Thank you, Tracy.
Chad.
The only evidence that ever came out is the evidence state wanted to put forth.
Well,
They
you could-
they
you could've put-
manipulate the evidence to make it look however they want.
You
And
could've
guess who
presented
helps them?
evidence.
The media helps them because from day one, when
Oh,
someone called you,
now it's Nate's fault. It's Nate's fault for covering the news.
okay, day one, whether it was Detective Hope or Detective Hermosillo, I'm not sure, called you and said, hey, Nate, Eaton, this is going to be the biggest story of your life. And they got that information from Heather Daybell. And Heather Daybell and Detective Hoper are connected, right? Because their kids got married. And they called and she said, oh, I have a story for you. These people killed their spouses so they could get married, which was totally a rumor,
I don't think
totally
that's true, Lori.
untrue. And then you ran with it and you got famous for
Oh my gosh, this is Nate's fault. This is Nate's fault. You are the master manipulator. Congratulations. If I had an MVP trophy, I'd hand it to you. You have a great way of spinning how none of this is your fault. How can you tell me? Oh my gosh. MVP. You're the real MVP, Lori. You are literally the greatest of all time at spinning it around and making it someone else's fault when it's your fault. You're the greatest.
from it, and everybody knows what happened from there, right? So that's the way it goes. So the media put out their narrative. They kept on with it. The state went along with it. The state leaked stuff to the media to say what they wanted.
What's false about
Oh
the
my
narrative?
gosh, everything.
Your children were found dead in Chad's backyard. That's not wrong.
Answer that shit right there, baby. How about that? Thank you, Nate. Get her.
He was chopped up and burned. That's
No.
not wrong.
No, that's all mixed up. That wasn't.
I saw photos of JJ wrapped in plastic and duct tape. That wasn't wrong.
Okay, I understand what you're saying of those facts. Those facts in and of themselves are wrapped around a whole lot of untruth.
What are you talking? Look at that face. Look at that gosh dang face right there. Look at that. Hell no. You know exactly what this is. I'm glad Nate got her for once.
About how they ended up there.
Correct.
So if Tylee killed JJ and then felt bad and committed suicide,
Mhm.
how did she die first?
She didn't.
Look at that.
She didn't?
Look
That's
at
the-
those eyes, the downturn, the eyes, the head shake. She knows, even if she wants to lie to herself, even if she wants to play this game with all of us, 1000%, she has no idea what she's saying.
Part of their whole fake narrative. That's
Who
part.
burned her and chopped her up?
That's part of everything that they were doing. So I don't really want to get into all of those details with you because you obviously are
I
very
love you too, man.
set in your mind. I'm not here to change people's minds.
I want you to
Other-
change my mind. I'd
Yeah.
love to hear any evidence or facts you have that might make me think, you know what, they have it wrong, but I haven't heard anything otherwise.
That's because you've been pushing this narrative for 5.5 years. You're not telling me that your mind is not set on what it is already.
Minds can change.
A narrative? What narrative? Please, exactly. If you're going to say some stupid stuff, back it up. Back it up.
They could change
Right.
if they're open to change.
Right.
Okay. So miracles are on the way. And you remember I asked you to watch a movie.
Yes.
What the hell? How do you go from a conversation where you go back and forth and he goes, change my mind. And she goes, well, miracles are on the way. What the hell am I watching? It's like the Twilight Zone. I'll never understand this woman.
Evan Almighty.
I did. And did you watch that movie?
I did.
Evan Almighty. Evan Almighty, where freaking Steve Carell, who plays Michael Scott, is Noah. Evan Almighty. Evan Almighty is a parody. This can't be real life.
And did you identify yourself with the reporter in that movie?
I don't know if I identified myself with. Did you identify him with me?
Yes, absolutely.
So what does that mean?
Okay. So when did the reporter change his mind?
Remind me.
When he was floating in the flood on the ark. Okay. Not
You
until
better
God.
drop that like she dropped that like it was facts. It's a fake movie. It's not even close to biblical. It's about Michael Scott floating down a river because a dam broke. It's a parody. It's not real life. Just like Twilight. It's not real life. You don't know the difference.
God showed the miracle was he did his mind change. His mind was like, this is a crazy guy. He thinks he's like Noah. Why are you so crazy? He's pushing the narrative, right? He pushed the narrative, pushed the narrative, pushed the narrative. And then the flood came. And he's the first one screaming. And he's screaming and he's running for the ark because he had been pushing this narrative the whole time, right? This fake, false narrative that this guy was crazy, that God didn't talk to him, that all these things have happened, right? That these weren't God things that happened, okay? So then he's the first one to get on there screaming. And when he's floating down the river on the flood is when his
Oh, she went prophet voice and slowed it down. And when they were floating down the river in effing almighty, that's when everyone knew. That's when they knew it was a God thing. That's when they knew. It's Evan Almighty, motherfricka.
change. So when you're open to changing your mind, I will be happy to enlighten you to the things of God.
Well, I would love to
I can't believe Nate has composure here.
hear
I'm
what
sure
you
you
have to
read.
say. I wish we had more than 30
I wish
minutes.
we had more time too, because
Okay.
we could really get into it.
A couple of more questions for you. And then
Did you see the dance? I just want to point this out. I want you guys to realize how clear Nate was. He asked a direct question. This is exactly how she's always been. So I don't want you to think this is new. This is unleashed. This is like the Hulk after he just he stopped caring about Bruce, right? The whole monster came out. Okay. He asked her a direct question and somehow she goes like this. Here's the point. Okay. Here's the point. And here's what she does. She goes out here and then just veers this way and somehow ended up on Evan Almighty after he asked, "Did you kill your kids?" Can you explain that to me?
I know that you have some things you want to say. The night before Alex died, he told Zulema, "I think I'm their fall guy." Was he?
No, absolutely not. And I don't think he ever said that. I watched Zulema go through probably 13, 14, 15 hours of detectives grilling her. I've watched the interviews. I've watched them all. And I watched her be berated by them, threatened by them, that they're going to arrest her, that she had a part in this, that she's a co-conspirator, and all this stuff until they got her to say exactly what they wanted
100%.
her to say. And she made that up. She made up a lot of stuff. And I felt bad for her because I didn't want her arrested. Because
Hey, Ray, what do you drink? Ray, what do we have? It's whiskey with a splash of with Diet Coke. You think I don't remember? Let's get how many are there of us? Let's get 4,147 orders. Everybody go ahead and get your drinks.
she wasn't part of any conspiracy because there wasn't any conspiracy. And I felt really bad for her. I do love Zulema.
Did you and Chad have anything to do with Alex's death?
No, absolutely not.
Look
We
at
were very
that face.
surprised. No.
Look at that deflection. Holy crap. Look at that deflection. No, you can't even open your eyes. Oh my gosh. That opens the door for me.
What were you and Chad and Alex doing in the storage unit, moving the tire and the seat back and forth on the day that Brandon was shot at and the day after?
So that's so silly that is. So there was
Is it silly? Is it so silly?
stuff in my garage that I was starting to move into the storage unit. That's what we were doing. And so I moved that stuff in there.
The tire on the Jeep?
I moved stuff that had been in there, just sitting in there. It had been sitting in there. So I didn't have enough room to park. So I couldn't carry it. It
Oh
was
my gosh, so stupid.
heavy. So I had Chad help me put it in. And the next day, Alex was like, "Where's all that stuff in the garage?" And I was like, "I went and put it in the storage unit." He was like, "Oh, I need that." So we went and got it. And that was it.
Can you see how, let's say you're not here. Let's say you're
Sure.
at home and you find out about this story and you do all your research. You go through all the court documents. You watch the trial. And you're watching another woman going through exactly what you're going through. Can you see how it sounds kind of crazy what you're saying? Like the fact that this was all a coincidence or you were just moving stuff in and
Yeah,
out?
because the narrative has trained the people.
But
the
if you
narrative
did
has
your
trained
own
people.
research,
The narrative has trained the people. I have people come up to me all the time in the jail. "I know everything about your case. I've watched everything." And they have every fact wrong.
but aren't you in
So-
isolation? Are you able to talk with other inmates?
Yeah, you have no idea what it's like in there. Okay, I'm in max security. I'm in PC, which I didn't choose to be, but they put me in there for safety reasons.
Tell me what PC means.
So,
Protective
protection.
custody.
Okay.
Yeah, you have
Protective custody.
protective custody. Yes.
Okay.
And so I'm in a max
Mega pint.
pod.
I want a mega pint right now. I'm not even a drinker, and I don't know how I'm supposed to sit through this. I do think Nate's doing an incredible job. We need to just take a minute and just say that I think Nate's doing as good a job as anybody, if not the best job, with responding to her and not buying her crap. And he's not being her friend, but he's not disrespectful. He's just factual. You got to give Nate the credit, man. Seriously.
With all the other women that are max. So there's like 8 women in my pod that are facing the death penalty. Okay. We're all in rooms in there, and we are all in there 23 hours a day. And we get 1 hour out a day to take a shower.
Of course.
And clean our rooms. And that's how it is in there. But all of our doors have openings so we can talk to each other even through the doors. And
Appreciate
so,
that, Sophie's mom.
Yeah. So I'm not
It is bad.
isolated. But when I am transported to court, like for my 2 trials, right, I'm with the women all day long that don't normally see me. So I'm friends with everybody in my pod.
Freaking Rich Ray. Rich Ray's about to be out here with a hammer playing whack-a-mole, baby.
But other women will shout out to me that, oh, I know everything about you. I know everything about your story. And they've been so indoctrinated by the media and their narrative that they put out. And nobody was asking me what's happening. Nobody
Because you're a effing liar. That's why no one asks your ass anything. I asked you. Nate's asked you. Brianna's asked you. Keith Morrison's asked you. How many times do you need to have someone ask you? The court asked you. You had every chance to tell the truth. You're a damn lie.
Well, I tried
was
to.
happening. Well, would you have listened then? You have to.
Absolutely. I wish
You need to be on the boat, Nate. Are you on the boat yet? Because when you're on the boat, Nate, I am going to be happy to share all this stuff.
Did this stupid mother F just say, get on the boat? I wouldn't jump on the boat if there was 15 Jaws-sized sharks with their cousins who haven't eaten in 10 years, who know I'm coming. I'd rather watch myself get ripped to shreds than get on the boat with you. You're on a boat to hell. What are you talking? Get on the boat. Chad left the boat. Appreciate it. I can't believe this. She's a vile villain. Please stop. But everything she says is not going to be made accountable. Yep. Exactly. Thank you for the chat, by the way, both of you. Sorry, I was reading what you were saying. No one's even on the boat with you. No one's on your boat. Burn the boats.
With you, because miracles are on the way.
I wanted to.
Miracles are on the way. And when you're on the boat,
What
that's
the
why
hell are you quoting? What miracle are you talking about?
I sent you that last
video.
message. Well, I sent you the last message saying, when you're on the boat, you'll be ready.
So
When you're on the boat.
you say Jesus is your friend.
Absolutely.
Does he support cheating on your spouse?
We weren't cheating.
Does he support?
Oh, Nate, get it. Oh, I love that, Nate. Get in there. She wasn't cheating. They have the proof. I didn't even know they were cheating the way they were cheating until we started watching the trials. They were cheating. Get her. They're Rose and Jack. Only this time Jack flips the door over so Rose falls off so he can get on there because he needs his 2 hot dogs to stay in his hand.
Support killing your husband?
I didn't kill anybody ever.
Killing your kids?
I didn't kill anybody.
Killing
as you
your
know.
boyfriend's wife?
As you know.
Okay. Was I in Hawaii when Tammy died? How did I kill her? Are you going to explain that to the world now? How did I do that?
Using your kids' money while they're dead.
Okay, all that is messed up too.
How
That's
did
all
you
lies.
how did you rent that unit in Hawaii?
That's
what
all
money?
lies. Chad rented it. I did not.
Chad
rent it.
With
Money until Tammy died.
Chad rented it with his own money.
Okay.
Chad was an author and a publisher.
the
Had it-
freaking author. Please pull receipts. Please pull receipts of the self-published Gravediggers books. He paid for a Hawaii condo in Kauai. Are we all supposed to be that dumb? You think we don't have Google?
His own company.
So
that's what I'm saying. You're getting
$30,000 a year. with
No,
that
but you're
company.
giving up facts that you don't. You're giving up whatever the state put up. They don't put up the whole story, Nate.
And that's
They just put up tiny little tiny pieces to put
Love it.
together their own narrative. That's it.
Thank
You don't know
TJ.
anything about our lives or how they were or what we were doing in the temple.
Yours-
What we were doing in the temple every single day.
while you're in the temple, while Tammy was still alive.
That's
you were
a-
in the temple with Chad.
Several
Thank you,
times.
Chrissy.
Yes.
Right. So he's married to Tammy.
Correct. Tammy came to the temple with us too.
The three of you.
At some points. Yes.
Yeah.
How many
Exactly.
times?
Probably twice.
When is this narrative going to come out? When are you saying the full story is going to come out? Like your side, what really
So
happened?
I'm writing it, and I'm going to write out
I knew
every
it.
single thing.
I knew it. I knew it. I told you guys. Someone asked us in like the 2 lives ago, is Lori going to write a book? I know her. She needs to do it. She's going to do it. She's probably been writing it forever. I told you she's going to write a book. I guaranteed it. I knew it because I know her. I knew it.
Every single thing from beginning to end so that people can really understand, because you can't understand what happened with Tylee and JJ unless you understand what happened to Tylee in her life.
You are such a sick. Oh. She hasn't seen Creed 2. I've watched Creed 2. Yeah.
have to know Tylee's whole story from beginning to end. And when you know what happened in Tylee's life, you start to understand. The understanding, the lights click on. But nobody has
So
said that.
Tylee, you're still blaming Tylee. You are such a C word. If the C word was a dictionary opened up and you looked up the C word, your face is there instead of the word. And everybody knows what it is. You're sick frick. Tylee did nothing wrong. You're out of your mind. And you are the you're one of the worst humans I've ever even seen in my life. How could you possibly think that anybody would buy this? How do you think that anybody would buy this crap from you? You are stupider than you look.
This lady got up in Idaho. It was 1 year after I had been arrested, and it was going to be Tylee's birthday. And there was a lady in Idaho Falls, and they were having some kind of vigil. And it was on the news because I was in a pod by myself at Madison County, right? And I'm watching the news, and this lady comes on, and she says, oh,
I know.
you know, it would have been Tylee's 18th birthday because she died 2 days before her 17th birthday. And she said, it would have been Tylee's 18th birthday today. And if Tylee were here, she would be out with her friends, and she would be singing and dancing, and she would be doing all these things. And this is a lady who has never met Tylee, never knew her, never knew anything about her life or our
You
life.
don't have the right to say Tylee's name. You don't have the right any longer. You should never, ever speak her name again. Her name should be something that never comes out of your mouth. Ever.
And I was like, do you know how many of Tylee's birthdays we spent in the hospital with her screaming in pain while she's on
Not
Narc-
that many, actually. That's a damn lie. Was Tylee in the hospital for pancreatitis? Yes, that's a real fact. But now it's somehow about you. And that's not even true. I don't even know how many birthdays, okay? I'm not going to try to say that. But like Tylee was not in the hospital on every birthday, okay? That's just like, that's such a lie, bro. That's such a lie.
and the morphine isn't enough to take away the pain.
Wait. Are you really blaming this all on Tylee?
No, absolutely not. I'm saying Tylee had a really hard life, and people don't
So
understand.
how does that tie into her death and
Exactly.
your son's death and Charles being shot and Brandon being shot at and Tammy's death?
Okay,
Her
all
illness.
those things connected, right? It's a domino effect. So in 2017, I was told by the Lord that I was going to become like Job and lose everything.
You are the...
Will I do this job if I lose everything? And so this domino effect of things happened. This is all the Lord's doing. And guess what? He's going to come forward and tell it all. And I don't have to. But I'm writing it all down for posterity. I am writing it all down because you know what he told me? You know what Jesus told me? He said, this is going to be real good scripture reading in the future. So if you go back,
Scripture?
you read
You think that you're going to write scriptures now? Scripture? I don't even know if you can be mad at this point. This person is clearly this person's mind is so badly affected by stupidity. You almost have to say, I don't know if at this point you can even keep being mad. At this point, you think you're going to ride scripture. This is Tylee's fault. You're writing scripture. Jump on the boat. Is that a good enough recap for you?
Scriptures, and you find all these stories that were going on. What do you think is going to happen? These are the last days, right? We believe that. You believe that, right?
When can I get a copy of this? Because I want to read it.
You're gonna. The whole world's gonna get to read it. I'm working on it. I work on it every day. Jeff's like, "What are you doing in there all day?" I was like, "I'm writing."
I told you. She's writing her crazy ass book.
I'm writing. It's coming to me. I'm writing.
When you were on trial in Idaho, didn't you say that Jesus was going to be back before the end of that trial?
Okay, who said I said that?
I'm asking you. Did you say
No,
that?
absolutely
You never said
not.
that.
I have never. Chad has never. We've never given a date or a time. The prophet.
July 20. Where'd July 20th?
Somebody
come from?
made that up and put it on there. I have never said it. Chad has never said it.
This is
We've
the
never
dumbest
had
thing
a
I've ever
date.
heard.
We're going with what the prophet says. When President Nelson gets up and says, "These are the last days. We need to prepare for the second coming. We need to gather Israel on both sides of the veil." That's what we were doing. That's what we were working on. And we wait for his timing. The Lord has his own timing. He's never early. He's never late.
Why has
His
Chad been
timing
excommunicated?
is great. So I think that was false too. That was mean. That was mean.
To excommunicate him.
Absolutely.
Are you still a member?
As far as I know.
Okay. So Lori, if you could go back 6 years
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
June of 2019.
Good, Mia. Thank
Would
you.
you change anything that's happened over the past 6 years?
Oh, that's a good question, Nate. I don't think I could, because
could.
we were foreordained to do this mission, right? The Lord is using Chad and I right now, and this is what he's told us, as instruments in his hands. What do you think he's trying to teach the people, especially his people, his church? What do you think he's trying to teach his people right now while he separates the wheat from the tares? He has to have an earthquake. It has to be so detrimental. It has to be get everybody's attention. Our case has done that. And what is he doing with that divide? He calls it, you know what Jesus told me? He calls it the great divide. What do you think he's doing with it?
I don't know, but
He's teaching people not to judge. Don't judge something. You weren't there. You don't know what happened. Don't judge. That's what he's doing. And he's separating the wheat from the tares right now in his own house. And he's using Chad and I to do it.
It's seriously, I'm serious when I say this. This idea, when you have to face God, is going to be one of the worst days and moments that has ever happened in the history of time for you. The fact that you are using God's name in this is worse than not. It's worse than if you had never brought God into it and said, I'm selfish and I want this. It's worse to bring him into it and use his name to give yourself a boost and say to yourself, God, it loves me, and God told me to do this, and God told me I was going to be like Job, and God put me in this position, and God said, go kill everybody, but we're actually just really good people and we're misunderstood.
Do it.
So what if you end up going to Pocatello in a few weeks and spending the next 30 or 40 birthdays there behind bars?
That would be God's will, but I'll tell you right now, that's not going to happen.
It's not.
It is not going to be 20 or 30 years. No, it is not going to be 20 or 30 years. I will testify to that right now.
So if it's not, how about we meet every year on your birthday and we do a follow-up interview and you can give me the timeline?
Absolutely. I don't have a timeline other than what the prophet has said. Did you watch conference? This last conference? Did you watch it?
Are you able to watch it in here?
No, but
why did you ask the question, dummy?
Was at the prison. At the prison, I was able to listen to it because on your tablet you have AM/FM radio, so you can listen to the whole thing. So I got to listen to it the last time before I came. But they did have one. They have one. I think it's a 2023 conference on our tablet here. So I've watched it over and over. But
there's the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. It's a very real thing. This got to be, in my opinion, the definition.
All the apostles, everyone in the LDS church is saying, prepare, gather Israel on both sides of the veil. I was going to the temple. I went to the temple every day for like 3 years. I was doing all Charles' family's work. I was doing all my family's work. I was gathering Israel on both sides of the veil. And Jesus came there. That's his house. And he talked to me and he told me that he needed me to do a mission for him. And this is what we're doing. And the media has turned it all around.
Your mission was to cheat on your spouse, literally, physically, mentally, steal money from your husband, kill your husband, kill your children, kill your new husbands. That was God's will? You want to tell me that was God's will? Okay. Okay. If you ever read the New Testament, The Chosen, by the way, I love The Chosen, but it doesn't replace your scripture. You know, it doesn't change scripture. Doesn't change anything. I don't understand that.
But it was supposed to be. You know, there's always a Judas. And I almost used to think of you as the Judas.
Me? Was I on the dark list?
No, but this is what I'm saying.
She said no, like there was a dark list. She knew. She knew exactly what he meant.
There's a Judas. People think that Judas is a villain. Judas is not a villain. You know what Judas was? Judas was a vessel. Judas was a vessel for God's plan to come to fruition.
Are we hyping Judas? He was God's vessel? Are we really telling ourselves that Judas was God's plan? God knew what was going to happen because he knew Judas's heart, like yours. He knew that Judas was going to make that decision. In no way, shape, or form was that something that he was forced to do. He chose to do so, and God knew it ahead of time. Are we really hyping up Judas? Thank you. I don't even know, bro. I'm in another planet that I never thought I would ever be on. We're hyping up Judas?
And he told me the other day, it's coming to full fruition.
God did.
Yes. So when we are, just like he told Noah, who was what? Steve Carell in the movie, right? So God came there and talked to Steve Carell. Is that true? In the movie?
Yeah.
It's a movie. It's Steve Carell. He's an actor. He's on set.
And the media guy didn't believe him, right? This guy's crazy, right? God didn't talk to him, didn't tell him to do it, didn't tell him to build a boat, buy all those lots, make his wife mad, spend all his money, build a boat, because that whole thing was going to get wiped out, right?
You know why she's not using the Bible? Because she doesn't have any basis in it. I don't think she reads the Bible. It would probably change her mind if she actually opened it, but she's going to reference effing Evan Almighty. Steve Carell, as you know, is an actor. You cannot be seriously pulling lore, spiritual lore, off of Steve Carell pretending to be, what's his name? Noah. Judas and Steve Carell.
So God has told me lots of things, and this is one of the things that he told me. He's using us as instruments in his hands to separate the wheat from the tares.
Did you ever think?
And people are choosing. Do you know how many people have left the church over our case? Which, what does our case have to do with the church? Nothing. Has nothing to do with the church. We're not against the church.
Did you ever think you'd have the title of convicted serial killer?
No, do I?
Well, for people.
Actually, not by definition, guys. We actually looked into that. There's a definition of serial killers, and serial killers are defined by 3 separate events at 3 different times. And you have to be convicted specifically as the first degree being the person who did it. So by definition, she would not be a serial killer. That's what we obviously refer to her. She really is. But by definition, she's not. Just tell you, so you guys know.
I mean, I guess you could technically say that, but everyone in the world knows that I didn't hurt anyone. I've never hurt
Everyone in the world knows exactly what happened. It's the opposite, Evan Almighty. It's the opposite, Evan.
in my whole entire life.
Well, you years ago, everybody I've talked to, your friends, family, say you were a great mom, so much fun, loved to dance, loved music, loved to travel. You were the light of the party. And here we are in a jail. How did you get from there to here?
Wow, good question.
God put me here for his purpose. And so you know who he needs? He needs somebody who's the life of the party, somebody who teaches the girls how to work out, somebody who teaches the girls how to have fun and dance and do all those things in this, the worst jail in the country. He needed somebody to come in.
Can you imagine dancing with her and roller skating with her? That's why God puts you in jail, because you're so righteous, right? Like, we're going to try to pretend that you were thrown in jail. Back in the day, they would try to say that you were breaking the law when people were going around preaching about Jesus, because the higher law did not like it. And we're going to sit here and say that you were put in jail so you could dance and sing with other women.
To the worst jail in the country and strengthen these women. And I'll tell you what happened. We used to have this wonderful lady, and she used to come in, and she's from mental health. She used to come in on Tuesdays, and she'd be down there, and she's blonde, and she's really cute, and she's really fun. She's bubbly like me. And she would come down there, and she'd try to get the girls to work out.
How in the world did you go from complimenting a human being to being like me? You see what I'm saying? Complete narcissist, bro.
Coping mechanisms, and talk to him about stuff like that. And half of the girls didn't like her. They thought she was annoying, and they were waking her up and stuff like that. Because you know why? She wasn't one of them. She wasn't one of them. But you know what I have? I have 7 lifetimes. I have worse.
So you're on your 7th life now?
No. I'm saying I got 5 life sentences.
He said, are you on your 7th life? The funny thing is, freaking Nate knows her spiritual lore. So that was a great. He's trying to figure out what she's saying. So you're on your 7th life now. What are you, a cat? What the frick?
Sentences in Idaho.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah.
I've got another one here and another one here.
I was talking about the multiple probations.
No, I'm talking about
your sentences for.
I'm sentenced to 7 lifetimes right now, basically.
Why didn't you tell all this to the police?
So.
Why didn't you tell them all this when you were arrested? Explain this to them. You know, God's told me to do this. Give your defense.
Really? What?
Really? Yeah, really. Freaking Nate is doing a great job, dude. Nate's doing a great job.
Happens to people when they say God told them to do something, they lock them up.
Well,
I'm locked up.
Well, whatever the reasoning, if you really did think Tylee was
you just said you didn't do anything wrong.
Responsible for this, why don't you tell the police? She had chronic pancreatitis. JJ had autism. All of these things.
Why she was sexually abused by her dad from the time she was 3 years old and forced by family court to go to him for 10 years. You don't think that was hard on her? She was in the hospital all the time. She had chronic pain.
Why not tell the police all this?
At the very beginning? Or what are you talking about?
I don't think you've ever talked to a cop, have you?
You know when I called the cops? I called the cops 2 times in my life. Guess what happened to me? I called the cops when I was pregnant with Colby, and his dad had beat me up, and I had a black eye, and I was thrown down the stairs, and I was 8 months pregnant. You know what they did? Nothing. They did not help me. And the second time I called the cops is when Colby was 10 years old, and we were at church, and we came in the car home, and he told me how Joe had molested him, and he didn't want the same thing to happen to Tylee. She was only.
What the fuck does that have to do with this? This is the thing she does. She led this. This has nothing to do with your interview here. And you come in here and start talking to Nate about that when it has nothing. This has always been my problem with that woman. Always. Always, always, always. Do you know how many people know that because she led with that? Every school I got moved to, everywhere we went, that's what she would tell people right off the bat. Because it's about her. Feel sorry for me. It's not about Colby. It's not about anybody else. It's about her. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Nothing.
3 years old. Okay. I called the cops. And guess what I did? I called them and I said, hey, this stuff happened. I don't know what to do. They said, we don't care. Call the county where it happened. So I called that county. And I told them the whole story. Like, my son just came to me. He's 10 years old. This happened, blah, blah, blah. They said, we don't care. Call the county where the perpetrator is living. So I called that county and I said, this is what happened. And nobody would talk to us. And then the county finally called me back where it had happened, where we had lived previously. And they said, okay, come in tomorrow, bring the kids in and we'll forensically interview them. Okay. So we did all that. I did everything that the cops asked me to do. And then when I was in there, they said, after they met with Colby, they interviewed him for 45 minutes. They interviewed Tylee. They came out. They said, Colby met all the criteria we use to prosecute, and we're going to prosecute him, and we're going to keep your kids safe. And then they did nothing. And Joe hired a criminal attorney, and they did nothing. And he never got indicted, and nobody ever even looked him in.
You did nothing. You did nothing. How about that? You want the honest to God truth? You did nothing.
Eye and said, did you rape your children? And for 10 years, the judge told me that if I didn't take Tylee to him every other weekend and 30 days in the summer and every Thursday night, that she would put me in jail. If I was late for one visitation of dropping her off at a dad who was raping her in the middle of the night, that I would be put in jail if I didn't abide by that.
Did you have anything to do with Joe's death?
No.
Did
Joe,
Alex?
No. We didn't even know. We were living in Hawaii. We had come back. Tylee was forced to go to him for 10 years by the courts, hated it, came home and cried, screamed, kicked, hit Colby, hit Cole, hit Zach, scratched him, yelled, threw things through the walls, was a nightmare, had night terrors, never slept at night. Tylee never went to sleep before 3 o'clock in the morning. She's 5 years old. She can't go to sleep. I have to stay in bed with her till 3 o'clock in the morning, rubbing her back because she can't sleep.
What does this have to do with anything in the world? You should never speak on Tylee. You really want some kind of credit for helping her sleep? How is this all? This somehow always comes back to how you are the victim of Tylee's behavior because she didn't have a mom to lean on. I didn't have a mom to lean on. So you really, if you want to really go and start talking, we could do that. We could really start talking about really what it is, about how abandoned you are, how much you abandon everybody. And then when it comes up and then we start telling, hey, mom, some horrible things have happened, you're the victim. Now it's worse for you. You want to talk about that? You want to go down that route?
Bad people wake you up in the middle of the night to do bad things to you, mommy. And so Tylee was a nightmare. Charles thought she was a brat. I didn't discipline her. Then I was in the hospital with her, watching her scream and writhe in pain while she's on morphine because it doesn't work.
I've interviewed several jurors. You may have seen the interviews.
I haven't seen any juror interviews, none.
And
I have no access. I'm in here 23 hours a day. I'm in max security. We don't have access to anything.
Well,
So I haven't seen anything for a year and a half since I've been over here.
they've said they were disappointed that they wanted to hear from you, that you
Yeah.
didn't have a defense, especially in Idaho.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If I get up on the stand and Trina Kay's sitting there, or
Rob
what's her
Wood.
name? Lindsay Blake, Rob Wood, right? And they're sitting there. Are they going to let me tell Tylee's story on the stand? You know they're not. They're going to object
It
every
has nothing to do with Tylee. It has nothing to do with Tylee, bro. Like, you're so out of your mind. You're so out of your effing mind, dude. You should never, ever speak Tylee's name in your life.
2 seconds.
If it's relevant to the case.
I'm writing it out. No, they won't, because they don't want me to tell that story because it's opposite of their narrative. It crushes their narrative.
But
It crumbles their narrative.
But you,
It's never going to
but
be
you know,
what it
as
is.
a defense attorney,
Yeah.
you present your defense. So you would have witnesses that would come in and would testify to the things you're saying and would give
I
evidence
love it,
to
Nate.
that.
You're just as naive as I was, and I love it because guess what? I found out as a defense attorney. This is what happened with
You're
Judge
not a
Martin.
defense attorney, dummy. You're not a defense attorney. You defended yourself. You're not an attorney. You've never passed the bar, have you? Did you do that while you were there?
Rescue. This is what happened. They don't let you put on a defense. Do you know how many motions I had on, or not motions? Do you know how many exhibits I had on to get ready for us to present our case for the first trial?
How many?
We had 33 exhibits. We put them up there. Trina Kay went up there. She gets to look at all your exhibits, right? This is how it works in law. She gets to look and see what all our things are, what we're putting up. Guess what I had? I had about 5 interviews with one of the cops who said, I have to get Lori on something. I have to find something to charge her with. I have him saying this on video.
Which cops?
Okay, Detective Moffat. Guess what happens? So I have 4 of those are my exhibits. I'm waiting for Detective Moffat to get on the stand. The state says they're going to put on Detective Moffat. Guess who they don't put on at all?
Moffat.
Detective Moffat. They go around you, and then the judge didn't let me put in one exhibit, not one.
What if you had
He didn't let me put one exhibit on.
What if
Not
you had
one.
waived your right to a trial, though, and given your legal team another year or so to go through all of that? Don't you think that would have helped your
She's
case?
nuts.
No, not at all. Because guess what my team said? They said he wouldn't have let us put
Thank
it
you,
on either.
Emily.
There's so many jobs, so much political aspiration going on behind the scenes in a high profile case. There is no way in heaven that they were going to let me get up there and win as a pro per client. Because you know what? It's like a virus in here. Do you know these girls that are treated so bad by their defense teams that are making 1.5 million a year while they sit here for 8 years, 10 years waiting to go to trial? There's girls in here that have been here for 10 years. Do you know what happens when you have a toothache in this jail? They pull out your teeth.
Why do you keep going back to the teeth? No one gives a frick. This is the most off-base thing. Like, how does Nate ask you these questions and you end up talking about teeth and Evan Almighty? Please, to God, tell me how that happens. Please.
Tell me how it's not prejudicial for you to go into trial with 5 of your teeth missing and you look like a homeless person and the
Love you
jury's
too.
there judging you, right? And because you've been sitting in a jail that doesn't have any dental for you for 8 years waiting to go to trial.
You mentioned a virus. Were you really?
What happened? Is this the video?
Hold up. Sorry about that. I don't know.
Oh, it's Nate.
Judge didn't let me put in one exhibit, not one.
What if you had
He didn't
waived-
let me put one exhibit on.
Oh, it's
What
on
if you
Not
had
one.
waived your right?
Called you. She called you through.
I didn't talk to
Detective
detective.
Hope. For Detective Moffat to get on the stand.
What the heck is
The
going
state
on
says
here?
they're going to put on Detective Moffat. Guess who they don't put on at all?
Moffat.
Detective Moffat. They go around you, and then the judge didn't let me put in one exhibit, not one.
What if you had
He didn't
waived?
let me put one exhibit on.
What if
not
you had
one.
waived your right to a trial, though, and given your legal team another year or so to go through all of that?
Okay, everybody, hold up. For some reason, this program, I
Oh,
apologize,
poor Nate. That sucks. We all know about that on this side.
without any.
Whoa. Hey.
Feelings. Do you personally feel bad or feel some remorse for the victims in these cases?
None of the people are victims. So
Are you the victim? Is that what you're
no,
saying?
I'm not saying I'm a victim at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm an instrument in God's hands.
Oh my gosh, you're delusional. They're right. They're right. You are delusional.
The victims that you call victims are not victims. Tammy died of natural causes.
coroner-
Tylee,
it's so disrespectful. That's what I will tell you. That is so disrespectful to ever say that about Tammy, to ever say it about anybody else in my family. How in the world can you possibly sit here and say that they are not victims?
Disagrees with
Tylee,
that. The coroner.
which
said-
coroner are you talking about? The one the
Brenda
state put
died.
on?
Brenda died, the county
Okay.
coroner,
Okay.
who said she was asphyxiated. So aren't her kids victims?
Okay. No. Do her kids feel like they're victims? No, they don't. They understand the truth. But let me
What
tell you
about her
something.
sister?
They
Let me-
understand the sick, twisted cult that they've been indoctrinated into. Oh, yeah. I know he will. Thank you for your chat too. I know he will. Yeah, it's a hard thing. We've talked about that on the channel before. Love you too.
Let me tell you something about Brenda Dye for a second. Let's go back to that because you said the coroner, and that is not even a true
She
statement.
originally ordered it as natural causes. You're right.
Oh, thank you, Nate. A
But-
fact,
but
a
then
true
they
fact.
Then they
Okay.
exhumed her body the day before Alex died, which
Okay.
looks suspicious with Alex's death. They exhumed her body, and they said no, she had the marks.
Did you hear what you just said?
What?
Looks suspicious. Who exhumed her? Why did they exhume her when she had a natural death?
So you're saying
Why did they exhume her when she had a natural death? What was the explanation for exhuming her when she had a natural death from the coroner? The coroner said it. Why?
because you and Chad were under investigation, and they thought that you all might have killed her.
Yep.
Why? Because of Heather Daybell and what she said at the very beginning and called you up to say? That's
Heather-
exactly where you're getting
Heather
it.
Daybell
That's
did
where
not
you're
call me.
getting
Heather
it.
Daybell
I didn't
did-
say she called you. She called you through
I
Detective
didn't talk to
Hope.
Detective Hope at all.
Did you talk to Hermosillo?
I don't remember talking to Hermosillo. The tip I got when you were in Hawaii was from none of those people.
It was before we went to Hawaii. It's before you went to Hawaii. How'd you get a tip
We-
before you showed up in
we-
Hawaii?
we-
You obviously had a tip before you
We
showed
found
up
out
in
about
Hawaii.
this case
Yeah.
when the police sent out a news release.
There you go. She hates Nate for reporting on her crimes. That's why she's mad at Nate. It's because Nate decided, oh yeah, I'm gonna actually ask the hard question and say, where are your kids? Because that's why we're all here, and you're walking around Hawaii with your new husband, and all these deaths are around, and we can't find your kids. Can you? No, you can't. You can't think logically.
And then somebody random, I still to this day don't know, and I swear to you, to this day, we got a Facebook message from an anonymous account with a GPS location of where you and Chad were.
There you go.
Someone did not. No, you were in an interview with someone. I did see a tiny little piece of an interview. I think you had Hermosillo and someone in an interview, and they were saying
it's Ray's fault. It's Ray's fault that you got caught. You're damn right. Get him, Ray.
Someone call you up and say,
yo, what happened?
Colin Nesbitt,
Whoa. What the frick? Hold on. What happened? Okay, we're gonna fix that. I don't know what the heck happened to that. This whole thing.
They didn't let me
Or feel some remorse for
giving you a peek behind the curtain.
And they said no, she had the marks.
Did you hear what you just said?
The police sent out a news release. And then somebody random, I still to this day don't know, and I swear to you, to this day, we got a Facebook message from an anonymous account with a GPS location of where you and Chad were.
Someone did not. No, you were in an interview with someone. I did see a tiny little piece of an interview. I think you had Hermosillo and someone in an interview, and they were saying, didn't someone call you up and say, this is going to be the biggest story of your life, Nate Eaton?
Oh, a police detective did tell me that. All right. But it's not.
Who was it?
It's not the people that you named. It's a source. So
you're not going to tell me your source, but you know everything about me, but you're not going to tell me your source.
Oh, he knows everything about you. So pick a side. Because you just said it's all wrong and false narratives. But then you say, oh, he knows everything about me.
I don't know about you, Lori. Back to the question of you don't feel bad. You're saying none of these people are victims.
I feel
Kay
bad,
and Larry
of course.
aren't victims. Brandon's not a victim.
No.
You tried to kill him, and they convicted you. A random jury watched the evidence and literally had your texts. I can't believe it. Brandon's not a victim to your attempted murder on him.
I'm not saying that people haven't had hard things happen to them in their life. Everyone has hard things happen to them in their life, right?
Hard things?
The judicial system plays up the victim thing pretty big, right? We've seen it happen.
You have now eliminated the victims of your crimes as victims out of your own mouth. You have now made the people you have tried to kill, which is Brandon, and the ones you did kill. Yep. This is who she is. This is her heart right here. You want to see her heart? It's right here on display. She'll let her say whatever the hell she wants. This is who she is. She's showing you. Let her show you exactly who she is.
The people who lost their children, I lost my children. I lost them.
But people, because of what you did.
Yes.
What did I do to them?
You arranged with Alex to conspire to kill them.
Yes.
No, I did not. Absolutely not. Absolutely
Did you know that they were in Chad's backyard? Or did I?
No, I did not know that. I did not know where they were. Alex told me that he was put them in a safe place. That's what he told me.
Did you
in
find
a
out?
safe place? In a safe place? So you knew they were dead. Then Alex tells you, oh, I'll take care of it, sis. Let me go put them in a safe place. The sickest thing ever. Ever. What would you duct tape? Why would you duct tape someone who's already deceased? Why would you have to chop and burn someone? Those are not something anybody has ever done ever in the history of time. If there was something that you said that happened, and there's not even a shred of possibility that would happen.
At the court,
You
at the
sick
first trial.
mother effer,
Is that the
dude.
first time you'd seen those autopsy photos?
Yeah, I hadn't ever seen them. I never looked at them before that.
Okay.
Because that's not how I picture my children. I know where they are in heaven. I know what they're doing. They have come to visit me. So
No, the hell, they have never come to visit you. They've never left heaven to come and visit you. I swear they have not.
I don't see them as bones. If anybody dies and you go to a cemetery and you dig them up 9 months later, you're not going to like what you find. It's not going to be.
She said the same thing to me. She tries to downplay their bodies, the way that they found their bodies. She downplays them as if, oh, I know where they are. I know where their spirits are. I don't know. I don't really look at, the fact that I killed them and did what I did to their bodies and did all what I did. I mean, unbelievable, bro. Thank you. Obviously, I'm getting beyond heated. This is out of control. This is out of control. This is the sickest thing I've ever heard in my life.
They're not going to look like that, Lori. They're not going to.
I'm saying anybody isn't going to look like that. I'm saying once your spirit leaves your body and goes to heaven, okay? Because I died, right? When I was giving birth to Tylee.
No, you didn't.
Died. And my spirit left my body. And guess what happened? When you're out of your body and you're your real self and your eternal self and who you are, you could care less what happens to your body. I've had that experience. Chad's had that experience. There's others that have had that experience. So
how did Nate stomach this? How did he do it? How did he do it? I'll never understand how he did this.
Body dies. Everyone's dying, right? We're all going to die. Our bodies are all going to go back to the earth where they were from. And we carry on. We move on. So my children are in their eternity. They're doing well. They're happy. They're moving on. They don't want me to be sad. They came to me because they don't want me to be sad. They said, Mom, you didn't do anything wrong.
I got one last question.
That's the sickest thing I've ever heard in my life. You have your daughter, your blood daughter, and your son come to you later on after their murders. And they say, Mom, you're such a good mom. She is if you want to study the word narcissist, if you want to study it, this is the full display. Everything she has said has bounced back. Have you noticed that? Every single thing. Other people, so Tylee dies, and I had the experience. I died though too, so I know what that's like. And then she goes down the path, and it's Lori. And everything good about anything that's ever happened. She's so sick in her soul. Her soul's so sick, and she knows it. She hates herself, so she has to upplay herself. She has to have more pride, more lies. She's so disgusted by herself. I promise you, this woman does not live scot-free. She just shoves it down. But she is sick in her soul, and she feels the sickness in her soul. And that is why she's so over the top. She's had to lose her mind. She's had to force herself to lose her mind so she doesn't have to even close to face what she's done.
Question for you.
Sure.
There's a lot of people that say I shouldn't have interviewed you. Well, they don't know I've interviewed you, but they say that you don't deserve a platform because of what you've done, what you've been found guilty of. Do they have a point?
In this unfair judicial system, anybody could be found guilty of anything. And I would tell to the people, I would say, be careful who you're judging, because anybody could end up in orange. You could be living your little life in the suburban bubble like I was, and anybody could end up in orange.
You're telling me you were living a suburban life, and then they just came and grabbed your ass, yeah? They just came and got you. Out of nowhere. The judicial system and Ray Hermosillo and all these people just said, let's go get that Lori. She just moved into town. We got her. There she is. Call the boys in blue. We're going to her house and we're getting her and we're pinning her down. Can you imagine that? Is that really honestly to God what you think happened? They just said, hey, let's go get her, boys. Like a cartoon?
Because they can turn this on anybody. There's women in here, beautiful, smart, intelligent women that have had their children die, and their family tragedies, and they're not crimes. And the state has turned them into crimes, and they're not crimes. And what I got accused of and convicted of, just like the 3 Nephites, what crime did they commit that they got 7 death penalties for? What crime did they commit that they got 7 death penalties for? I'm in good company. I'm in good company, and in heaven.
You're in good company? Oh my gosh. I'm having a tough time.
I will be in their company. And I didn't do anything. that deserves this kind of punishment. But God did want me here. He did want me in here with these women. And he wanted me to strengthen women and uplift them in these family tragedies. There's women in here that have suffered the same things I have. They've been here for years, waiting to go to trial. They haven't even gone to trial yet, but it's an unfair system, and they probably will get convicted. And then we'll see each other at the prison, and we'll uplift each.
You know who's judging? God. You know who judges all? God. You know who knows your heart? God. Figure that one out.
Each other there until Jesus comes. And when he comes, he's going to set everybody in the prisons free. And all those who are unjustly and wrongfully convicted, like me and like these others, we will be walking free on this earth, and we will be walking with Jesus. And that's what we're going to do.
Okay, I have 15 cards, but I'm getting the wrap. So thank you, Lori, for chatting with me, and maybe we can chat again.
Maybe we can do it again sometime.
Okay. Thank you. Happy birthday. See ya.
M&M's. Can I have an M&M? No? Are you guys going to mute me? Yeah.
That was, she thinks that it's funny. She thinks that it's funny. She thinks it's a game. It's been a game to her from the beginning. She has zero, not even an ounce of remorse. Not an ounce of remorse. You have to understand, she's narcissistic. She thinks it's funny. She's a mocker. She mocks people. She de-victimized real victims. Okay. And you guys know from our media company, our video, whoever went and subscribed and watched our video, Brandon and I spent a long time talking about the difference between a victim and becoming a survivor. And you want to transition, but you start as a victim. Brandon is a victim. He's just choosing to be a survivor now because he's worked through it. The fact that you have the audacity to say that and say Tylee and JJ and Charles and Tammy and Brandon are not victims to your plotting and scheming as we're listening live to, I'm listening to your trial from 23. You're telling me that hundreds and hundreds of people got together in conspiracy against a holy woman who wasn't cheating, who wasn't doing anything wrong, who did nothing wrong, and just decided to put her behind bars for the rest of her life because she was in a suburban bubble. I'll never, ever, ever need to try to understand her. She's a sick woman. She's disrespectful, deserves no respect. But you know what? We still try to take the higher road. The real thing to be is to not let her try to get to us. I'm flustered. I'm angry at her. But you know what? The worst part is I don't expect anything more than her. I don't expect anything from her. This is what she does. This is who she is, and she showed you her true colors. Appreciate that, Susie. Yeah, we launched the media company today, so it's an incredible thing to have that. And you guys, that's our positive of the day. So the positive of the day was telling you guys about the media company, being able to share that with you. It makes me excited. This was the low of the day. This was the low. I will say this. Last thing, I just want to say thank you guys for being our family. Thank you for being here. Thank you for, everything, man. We love you too, man. Thank you for being here too. Yeah, I don't think she's going to make a dollar. She doesn't care if she makes $1 off that book. She'll write it so she has it. So that's just what it is. Thank you guys so much. I know a lot of guys came in and did a bunch of love and support. Just want to say thank you to that. I'll pin the media company's link in there for you guys. My phone's about to freaking die over here. But I just want to let you guys know I appreciate you and love you. Thank you for walking this journey out with me. Thank you for walking through so much of this in the last couple of weeks. We've worked through so much as a group. You guys have been so loving and supportive. And it's just felt like, a huge weight off of my chest to have a family to support me. I felt so lonely. I see that you guys, a lot of you have been through very similar situations, and I'm sorry for anybody who's had parents like this. It's not easy, but you have to remember that they are them and you are you, and they do not define you in any way, shape, or form. Your parents and people in your family do not define you. So That's just what it is. You guys need to know that that has nothing to do with you. So with all that being said, I did pin, if anybody's interested, I pinned the Kaz, one of our awesome mods, posted the Timber and Weeks Media Company up at the top for you guys. You guys can go check it out. That is me and Brandon's media company, me and Brandon Boudreaux. So this is another thing. Brandon already played the song. He played Akon's song, and he literally said, what's the song? Nobody want to see us together, because I want Lori to know that I have gotten close to Ray, and I want her to know that I've gotten close to Brandon, and that I love them both, and all the other people that I've gotten close to, because she has wrecked so much of our lives and hurt so much and tried to take so much. And I hope she knows for a fact what it is. So we put all of that on our media company. We have a special thing we're going to do on our media company. If we get to 10,000 subs, we're going to do a reaction to a very, very specific video that Brandon had the idea about. He wants to talk about it. This video refers to something that happened in the case that kept getting shut down. And I'm going to leave it at that. It's a very popular song. So you'll see it on that channel. But I appreciate you guys showing that love. Thank you for being a support for us tonight. That was tough. Not even going to lie to you. Tough times. So we just got to keep moving forward. Tomorrow we're going to finish up some testimonies for our lives. So if you guys want to be here in the morning, I'll put up a thumbnail for you guys. We're going to keep trying to finish out some of the testimonies and Lori's, and then we're going to move on to Chad's, and then we're going to move forward. She said it. She said it. I'm not saying anything out loud. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what it is. I didn't say anything. I just told you it's a very, very specific video that's going to be coming up. So with all that being said, I love you guys. I will see you in the morning. Thank you for the love and support, and have a great night. Love you guys.